This is Josh with Star Valley Capital. Star Valley Capital is my company, and I use it to help small businesses with automation and to also do automated algorithmic trading. So some of the stuff we do, full stack web development, product product and project management. We can help you design a system. Um, we can help manage stakeholders and customers for a system you might be designing for someone else, whether it's internal or external. We do technical consulting, and our bread and butter, which I should probably move this up to the top, is specialized projects. You have a very specific business problem, and there's probably nothing out there that addresses it, and we can build it. So that's just a little bit about my company. Now let's take a look at, so the topic of this video today is OpenBooks. OpenBooks is an alternative to QuickBooks. This is a weekend project for me. So over the weekend, I asked myself, um, well, I own and run a small business, so I do need some accounting and tax preparation tools because I've got profit and loss statements, uh, business deductions, mileage deductions, stuff like that. So I used QuickBooks for a little bit in the beginning. I really didn't like it. The software was, I felt bloated. It was a little bit, it was spyware. I mean, trying to track you, everything you do, everywhere you go. You can't use a VPN. Uh, it doesn't like it when you use a VPN. And so I kind of asked myself, why am I paying my money to QuickBooks when the software seems to be just wanting to spy on me, and it's totally bloated with features I'll never use, features I can't even figure out how to use the app because it's so complicated. So um, all that said, I canceled QuickBooks, and I decided to just take a weekend project on to automate the parts of QuickBooks that I still need to be done for me as a business owner. I don't want to upgrade. I don't want to do. I don't want to. I don't want to spend a lot of time working on spreadsheets in order to calculate what my taxable income actually is at the end of the year. So let me just bring up a spreadsheet real quick so I can show you what I was working on. Okay, so this is where I was working out of, trying to figure out um, what my trying to figure out what my end of the year tax burden is for my business. Uh, so um, I wanted to get out of the spreadsheet, and that's why I developed OpenBooks. And the idea is that I want an AI to look at the transactions in my business bank account, and I want that AI to classify them either as income, deductible business expenses, or uncategorized business expenses. And so I set out to do that, and that is what I accomplished over the weekend. So here's how the system works. A little bit. First, we'll talk a little bit about the architecture. The architecture of the system is very simple. So OpenBooks is deployed on a railway. There's a dashboard service, which is an Next.js app. There's a Postgres database, which is its own service, and there's an agent service, which is TypeScript. And so the dashboard and the agent and the Postgres database all work together to automate business accounting. And I'll talk a little bit about how that works. So we start with linking a bank account. And so this system uses Plaid, so you need a Plaid API developer key. It's not hard to get. Once you get that Plaid API developer key, you can connect to any bank that Plaid can connect to. And when you click link account, then I'll show you what happens. We're already linked, so we won't go through it again. But Plaid brings up a modal and has you sign in to your bank account. And once you are signed into your bank account, Plaid will pool every transaction to some extent. So my business bank account is through Novo, and I tried when I connected I connected the API to Novo. I tried to pull everything from here, and unfortunately, it would only pull transactions dating back to December 9th. So I had to do a manual CSV import from Novo's web app to finish the rest of the transactions. But here we have all the transactions on my business bank account from 2025. And we have them all from 2026. And this sync button simply has the simply means we hit the AP, we hit Plaid's API again, and we sync to make sure that we are not missing any new transactions. So we started with a list of transactions. These are debits and they are credits. And so the question for accounting purposes is when there's a credit, is that actually business income? And when there's a debit, is that actually a IRS deductible business expense? That is the question. So a lot of people will manually classify these, and that takes a long time. And a lot of the current solutions out there don't actually do a really good job at automatically classifying things. When I tried to do it through QuickBooks, it was extremely complicated. I couldn't understand why it had to be so hard to do something like this. So that's why I made my own system, OpenBooks, because I just knew it didn't need to be that hard, and that somebody just needed to come up with a solution. So this is what that is. So in transactions, these are the debits and credits to whatever bank account that you connect to this. Mileage is where you can upload CSVs from mileage apps. So if you do rideshare like Uber and Lyft, every mile you drive for Uber and Lyft is tax deductible to a certain extent. And so you can use an app like Stride to keep track of that mileage. And you can export CSVs from Stride and you can import them into OpenBooks, and OpenBooks will take into account the mileage that you input in its calculation of what your taxable income is at the end of the year. So, like I was saying earlier, the real question is what in the transactions table that you get when you hit Plaid's API, what in that transactions table is income that you need to declare? What part of that are business deductible expenses? And what part of that are kind of neither? They're kind of gray area things. So I set up an agent using OpenRouter. And so what this agent does is this agent can run automatically on a cron job, like every hour or whatever you want to do. But to save on LLM tokens, we are only running it manually when I click the classify button. So what that looks like is the dashboard is where you set up your bank accounts, you do all your imports, and the agent, when you click classify, that sends a signal to the agent service that, and this is what the agent service does. The agent service, using whatever LLM, whatever model you configure. So we're actually using Gemini right now, but you can, with OpenRouter, you can use whatever model is available on OpenRouter, and most of them are available. Pretty much any model you can think of is available to hit on the OpenRouter API. So we use OpenRouter, and the agent actually has a prompt. And let me see if I can bring up that prompt real quick. So the agent has a prompt. And so when I hit the classify button in the dashboard, This is the prompt that the agent is hit with. So it's basically told that your job is to classify everything in the transaction table as either income, a deduction, or uncategorized. And if it's uncategorized, you have to give a reason why you think it's uncategorized. So we will look at what this prompt, and there's one other part, let me just mention. There are custom rules that you can set in the system to help the agent make its decisions. So, for example, because my business involves taking a mileage deduction, one of my rules is that if the agent sees any payments to gas stations, convenience stores, or auto repair shops in the transactions table, that it should not classify those as deductible business expenses because we are taking the mileage deduction. And what's really cool about this is when I ran this agent, that is exactly what it did. So we'll look at what it showed as income. And so part of my business is rideshare driving through Lyft and Uber, and it caught every single credit to the account that was from those two companies, and it rightfully classified it as income. And when it came to business deductible expenses, it caught all of those correctly too. So it went through the transactions list, it figured out what each of these were, and it figured out that it was able to reason that these were deductible business expenses, and these are all tools that I use, either tools or supplies that I use in my business. In the uncategorized table, um, the reason it was very interesting for me to see. So, for example, there was we'll just use this first example in the table, a payment to Chevron for $26. So that's gas, and um, because we're taking the mileage deduction, gas is not deductible. Because if you're running a rideshare business, then you make more money most likely doing the mileage deduction than you do on actually itemizing all of your business deductions. So what was really cool is that the agent caught that. The agent read its prompt, the agent read its rule about payments to gas stations, and then the agent was able to reason when it classified the transaction that per the business rules, payments to gas stations, Chevron, are not deductible because the mileage deduction is taken instead, not income or a business transfer. So that's the magic behind what's going on here. Is that now that my business bank account is connected to this system, the AI will run whenever I want it to, and I can clear everything and start from the beginning and have it reclassify every single thing, or I can continue. And I think, and so because there's nothing new to classify, it didn't do anything right there because we've already classified everything that's appearing in the transaction table so far. So what's really cool about this is that I no longer have to maintain a spreadsheet as long as I am paying all of my business expenses through the account that the system is currently connected to. So what happens here is I can sync and I can make sure everything's updated. And once I sync, I can classify and I can say, just continue. And if there's anything new, the agent will look at the new transactions and it will classify them as income, deductions, or uncategorized. And in the end, that comes out, the summary dashboard shows us that will give us an estimate as time goes on of what realistically our taxable income is going to be, so that when the time comes to file taxes next year, you the business owner have some realistic picture of how much taxes you're going to owe. So this year, because of business expenses, I'm not going to owe anything on what my business has made so far. Um, but so that's that's a quick look at this weekend's project, which was to successfully replace QuickBooks and tax preparation software with a homegrown solution that I can customize as needed. So if you are a small business owner wondering if I can make this for you, the answer uh, is yes. Yes, I can make it for you. I'll put my I'll put my email address on the screen, and I just want to say that um, it's becoming uh, it is easier now than it has ever been before to integrate AI agents into software that you build, and they're really useful. So this agent that goes in whenever I run it and looks at my transactions and categorizes them for tax purposes is very useful to me. That saves me a lot of time. I don't have to manually update spreadsheets anymore. It handles all of the insertions, the row insertions into the new tables and stuff like that. It handles everything. It manages the tables, so I don't have to manage any of that stuff anymore. And so, while I have some other projects that I need to switch gears to, there is probably a few more things I'm going to do with this one. One thing, for example, that I wanted to do is I want to figure out. Well, there's one. So I'm going to add a tab to the right here that's called taxes, and what that tab will do is that tab will automatically fill out a IRS Schedule 1040 or 1040 Schedule C profit and loss form. So I'm going to have like an interactive a form here in a new tab that's going to allow me to basically print off to fill out a few things, and then the dash will autofill some of the rest for a profit and loss statement. So that will greatly reduce the time that it takes to produce my taxes. Another thing I want to do here, and I probably will, is I'll probably have the AI go a little bit farther in its deductions, and I'll have it not only classify deductions but also classify, well, what company is it, what is the nature of the expenditure, so that I can get some metrics on my dashboard about what am I spending most of my money on as a business every month? What's taking up most of my what's taking what are my recurring costs? What's taking up most of my costs? These are all questions that are really valuable to answer. So this is really a small business dashboard. Um, but this is just a really interesting example of what you can do with AI in a weekend. It used to be that it would take teams of people working for months to reproduce some sort of skeleton prototype, the alternative to some competitor product like QuickBooks. Those days are gone. Now, solo, you can bring to life a prototype in a weekend that solves almost all of your use cases that the product that you were using solved, and solves them better. So I just wanted to share that with everyone. If you're interested in this, if if you have a business problem that you really need software to help you with, and there's just no software out there that is going to work for you, you need some sort of custom homegrown solution, please reach out to me. I would love to talk to you about what your needs are and whether or not my company can help. So thanks for watching, and I hope you have a great day.